I cut the first adjoining piece from the outer wheelhouse to the outer patch panel, and I'm test fitting it to see how well it will fit, or if it will even work, or what I'll have to do to make it work. Sometimes the floor makes a nice anvil. I've determined that a piece that big won't fit, and I'll have to use a couple smaller pieces in order to get the curvature that I need. I'm screwing that patch piece to the outer wheelhouse that's already in place for a flush fit so that I can weld it in place. trying to fit in the other half of that larger piece that I cut in half, and it ended up being a little bit too big but a little bit too small to trim down, so I ended up cutting another piece out of the scrap wheelhouse. But I was able to end up using the piece that was a little bit too big to close off the area between the rocker panel and the outer wheelhouse, so it didn't go to waste. This isn't exactly quick and easy, but with enough determination, you can make anything work. There's an old saying in this industry, given enough time, you can fix anything. Just like the other piece, I'm screwing this one to the outer wheelhouse that's already there for a flush fit so that I can weld it. The reason I do the welding, hammering, alternate thing is because when you weld and then hammer, you can keep the parts flush together a little bit better. You could use more screws, but it's just easier to do it this way, in my opinion. Since I ended up using that other half of that one single piece for the rocker to outer wheelhouse closure, I'm cutting that smaller piece that I was going to need in its place. I'm trying to see if I can get the drill in there with the vice grips in place, and it turns out that I'm going to have to weld the outside first so that I can remove the vice grips and then screw the patch in place to make it nice and flush with the outer wheelhouse. Here I'm grinding the welds, but it ended up being so loud in that echo chamber I had to go get my hearing protection. Now I am trimming off the excess overhang that extends beyond the flange of the quarter panel patch. I'm doing as much as I can without having to lay on my back, because you tend to get burned with hot metal shavings and welding splatter when you're laying on your back doing this work. They make leather jackets for doing this type of work, but I don't like wearing those or much else in the way of safety equipment, because I feel like it hinders my ability to see and move. Now I am grinding down the welds where I welded the patch panels from the outer wheelhouse to the outer quarter panel patch. It ain't beautiful, but it's there. There is something there that wasn't there before. I'll bridge the gaps with fiberglass, but you can't just do it all with fiberglass. Now that I've tied in the outer wheelhouse to the outer quarter panel patch, I am welding the quarter panel patch to the body of the car. Notice that I'm skipping around as I'm tacking the patch panel onto the car, and that is to prevent generating too much heat and causing the sheet metal to warp. And now I am removing the screws that are holding the patch panel to the backing strip, and when I finish welding the patch panel onto the car, I will do the same thing, and I will skip around for the same reason, not to generate too much heat and cause too much warp. Now I'm putting in a few more screws on the flange right at the door edge to maintain the door alignment. I'm checking to make sure I've maintained the door alignment, which doing it this way would be almost impossible not to maintain, but it's always good to check. I might as well get comfortable. This is going to take a little bit of time to finish welding in this panel. So I'm going to sit down on the job. Even with deerskin gloves, my hands still get hot. Here I'm looking to make sure that I didn't warp or bend that body line too much that I maintained by not cutting up to it. That's going to be one of my biggest helps in shaping in this patch panel with body filler. And that's going to conclude this video. My SD card ran out of memory, but the rest is cosmetics, and I think you guys have the gist of what it's going to take to weld in this panel. So thank you for watching.